Hi, I'm Dora Robbins, and we'd like to invite you to the Village Church on July 4th for this year's Independence Celebration. Event starts at 12:30, and it's called American as Apple Pie. And today, I'm here with Chuck McClinton. He is the business manager of the Memory Makers Band, and Cass Obie. He's a Shell Point resident, and he is the master of ceremonies for the Memory Makers Band. And then we have August Toma. He is the conductor of the Sanibel Big Arts Band. So, Chuck, back in March, I asked you to play for Independence Day with the Memory Makers Band. Since then, things have changed a little bit. Can you tell me what kind of changes it's taken?
Yes, Dora, we had to morph the big band. As you know, big bands do not have flutes and piccolos, French horns, baritones, and tubas. So we had to put together a band which could play the kind of music that you really needed for that event. Our second challenge is that a lot of our musicians are gone during the summer, so we had to find good musicians. And the third challenge is that, hey, this is a different kind of music than big band music, obviously.
Right.
I'm not going to talk about that, but the other two challenges were enough. So to morph this big band into what we needed for this, two-step process. First, we had to come up with a management team because our management team had gone away for the summer as well. So we have Cass, of course, as master of ceremonies. Thank goodness he's still in town. And he's overseeing the whole program development. Cass has a lifetime in putting together programs and public speaking. His oratory is always informative and entertaining, mostly entertaining, but it's informative as well. In August, we brought him on. He's a renowned conductor from Sanibel, and he is our music director. He's a remarkable, highly respected conductor. He's a retired director of bands at Rochester College. August is responsible for the music selection as well as conducting the band. Now, finding musicians turned out to be quite easy.
Did it?
Everybody wanted to play here, so we got to pick the best of the best from all of the bands around the
That's
area.
good. So, August, can you tell me about the music you'll be playing?
For the music, we went to a couple of different sources, including the Lee County Band, that Chuck was able to locate some music, and a number of things that were in our Sanibel library as well for the Big Arts Concert Band. In addition, there was a very special arrangement of America the Beautiful that was purchased specifically for this event. The music that we're going to do is a variety of patriotic music, feel-good music. It's going to be up-tempo and very inspiring, I think, to our listeners, and we're very excited to share that gift of music with our audience. There'll be a sing-along as well, led by Shell Point resident Pat Specht, and Cass is going to narrate a program he's put together called Unsung Heroes of the Struggle for Independence. And it will involve narration as well as the band playing excerpts from America the Beautiful during that program, and I think it's going to be very exciting as it plays out.
Good. Now, Cass, where did you get the idea for the Unsung Heroes of the Struggle of Independence?
Well, I'm a stamp collector. And back in 1976, for the American Bicentennial, the postal system put out a series of 4 stamps. People I've never heard of. The series was called Contributors to the Cause. And the first one that they put out was of Sybil Luddington, who was a young girl, and we're going to talk about that later on in the program. Salem Poor, who was a slave who served in the Continental Army. Chaim Solomon, who financed the revolution. And Peter Francisco, who was kind of the Rambo of the crowd. He started with the first battle of the Revolution, and he was there at the surrender of Yorktown. He was at almost every battle. So these are all interesting characters that history passed over. And I'm going to introduce a 5th person to the audience, a man who wrote the words, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." And no, it was not Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson lifted the words. Now, you have to understand that plagiarism was not as negatively regarded back then as it is now. People took things from all over and they just put it as their own work and they fixed it up. And so we have to understand that Jefferson was meeting with this bunch of guys, and you can imagine that somebody said, "Hey, Tom, you know, how about scratching up a list of complaints? Call it a declaration or something. You'll figure it out." So Jefferson goes back to his library, and he pulls out some books. And among the books that he pulled out was a translation of a Latin tome 200 years old called De Optimo Senatore, the Ideal Senator. And it was written by a Polish philosopher. And he opens up the book and he sees, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are..." Yeah, we hold these truths to be self-evident. So that's how it came about. Jefferson consulted the books in his library and he wrote. And so with Augie's help, we came up with the idea of doing the narration along with the band playing phrases from America the Beautiful. And there you have the unsung heroes for the struggle for independence.
That's pretty interesting. So I understand we're going to play the Stars and Stripes Forever, and you said it could be related to Shell Point. And what's the story on that?
The Stars and Stripes Forever is probably the best march you'll ever hear, and it's been designated as the official march of the United States of America. And I can make a case that, tongue-in-cheek fashion, that it could be the official march of the Shell Point retirement community. Remember when we were kids, and especially maybe if we were in camp, summer camp, we learned alternate lyrics to the stars. Be kind to your web-footed friends, for that duck may be somebody's mother. Be kind to your friends in the swamp, where the weather is very, very damp. Okay, Shell Point has swamps all along Shell Point Boulevard. There's swamp there. It's got very damp weather. Shell Point has ducks. So if it walks like a duck, it must be a march.
Perfect. Well, the residents remind me every day how much they loved the Memory Makers that played in January, and the Sanibel Big Arts Band when they played in February. So we're excited that we combined the two, and you're going to be here for July 4th. It's
We
great.
look forward to it.
We're as American
As
As apple pie.
See you on the 4th.
See you on the 4th.
Bye-bye.